force acting when it was following the last path was m, because that time its velocity was the largest. So m v0 square by r0. R0 was the maximum radius covered, is bq v0. So v0 and v0 will cut. So from there we can find out v0 is this, bq r0 by m. So what is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is half m v0 square. So putting the value of v0 from here, we are getting, this is the kinetic energy of the proton which is going to come out. This is the maximum kinetic energy possible for a proton to come out. Okay. Now, what is the, if it is taking a time period, so definitely it will have some frequency of alterations. Frequency of alterations. So what is frequency? Frequency 1 by time period. Time period already we found. So we will reverse it. We will get the frequency of time period as bq by 2 pi m. So this is the time taken by the proton to cover a circular path around the 2Ds and then come out. Got it? So I hope you understood what is Lorentz force. So Lorentz force was the combination of the electric and the magnetic field. Then we studied the cyclotron. Here we studied the cyclotron. We understood how it behaves. The basic function of the cyclotron was what? The basic function of cyclotron was that it makes the charged particle move with a maximum velocity. So that maximum velocity coming out is basically utilized in what? X-rays, where the charged particle is allowed to hit with a large velocity on those high metallic sheets where we do the X-ray. Okay? So that is an application of the cyclotron. Next we will study force. We are going to study force on a current carrying conductor. This is the conductor of length L. A conductor is of length L through which a current is passing. So this is the conductor whose length is L. A current I is passing. Current is passing means charge is passing, Q is passing. And let this conductor, and here is the magnetic field under which the conductor is placed, the magnetic field. So when the charge is passing in a magnetic field, I told you it will experience some force, due to which it will move in a particular direction. Let the direction be theta with the magnetic field. So this is the case. So we already found out that force on a charge moving in a magnetic field is BQV sin theta, where theta is the angle made by the charge with the magnetic field. Clear? So here, watch one thing. We know that current is a charge flowing per unit time. Current is charge flowing per unit time. So what is Q? Q is I into T. So in place of the Q, I am putting I into T. And what is V? V will be the length by the time. So instead of the V, I am putting L by T into sin theta. So basically T and T cuts, it is VIL sin theta. So the force acting on a charge which is flowing through a conductor of length L placed in the magnetic field, the force acting is BIL sin theta. Force acting will be BIL sin theta. This is the force acting on a charge which is moving in a magnetic field through which a current is passing. Clear? Now watch here. That means the L is the length of the conductor, B is the magnetic field, theta is the direction of the velocity of the charge with the magnetic field, and I is the current. Suppose the charge is moving in the direction of the magnetic field. That means theta will be 0. And sin 0 is 0, so the force acting will be 0. Very important condition. Very important condition. What condition? That if the charge is flowing in a direction along the magnetic field, that means the angle made is 0. So what is the force acting on the particle? It's 0. So this is the minimum possible force acting on the charged particle. Okay, so the force will be 0 if it moves along the direction of the magnetic field. Now consider that the particle is moving perpendicular to the magnetic field. So the angle will be 90 degrees. And sine 90 is maximum. We know that. We know sine 90 is maximum. So the maximum force, what is the maximum force acting on the charged particle? It will be VIL. The maximum force acting on the charged particle will be VIL, because sine is maximum when the angle, sine will be maximum when the angle will be 90 degrees. So basically what we have seen just now is that when the charged particle is moving perpendicular to the magnetic field, it is experiencing the maximum force. It is experiencing the maximum force. So we have found out the maximum force acting on the charged particle in a magnetic field. We found out the minimum force acting on the charged particle in a magnetic field. So let us move now to the next section. Okay, let us move to the next section. Next, we are considering force between two parallel conductors. So watch here. This is the conductor and this is the conductor. They are carrying currents I1 and I2. I want to find out what will be the force between them. If these are the two conductors, what is the force acting between them? Okay? Just excuse me for 1 second. Okay guys. So we want to find out what is the force acting between the two conductors which is carrying current. So watch here. If a current is flowing through the conductor, I want to find out at a distance of r what is the magnetic field due to the current flowing through the conductor. This is the current flowing. This is the current flowing through the conductor. There is a magnetic field acting around the conductor. So this is the distance r. So at a distance r, what is the magnetic field? So always see the magnetic field is perpendicular, acting perpendicular. That means the magnetic field due to this on this will be always perpendicular. Will be perpendicular always. So what is the magnetic field due to this wire on this wire at a distance r? So it is mu0 I1 by 2 pi r. This is the magnetic field acting on this wire due to this wire. Current carrying I1 on this wire at a distance. Actually the magnetic field will be surrounding it like this. This will surround it. So this is the magnetic field. Now we just now found out that if a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it will experience a force. What is the force? VIL. So what is the magnetic field here? mu0 I1 2 pi r. This I is due to the second wire, I2 into L. What is L? L is the length of this wire. So if I want to find out, this is the total force acting on the whole wire of length L. So if I want to find out force per unit length, it will be mu0 I1 I2 by 2 pi r. This will be the force acting on the conductor per unit length. Clear? This is the force acting on the conductor. So let us now see from here. So this I have shown you. What is mu0? Mu0 is the permeability of the medium. In which medium are the two wires kept? Is it for this mu0? Is actually we keep it in air. Now if it is some other medium, it will become mu0 mu r. Mu r is the permeability of that medium. It can be in a kerosene, it can be in any other liquid, it can be in water also, it can be. So if it is only air, it is only mu0. If it is kept the two wires are kept in a liquid, so it will be mu 0 and mu r. Permeability of that particular medium will be multiplied. So here what I can see is that this is the force acting between the two conductors. Now, watch very carefully. If the conductors are carrying current in the same direction, so due to this wire, at a distance of r, the magnetic field will be perpendicular. I told you will be perpendicular. Clear? And now this is the current and this is the force. So if we apply Fleming's left hand rule on this wire, keeping the direction of the magnetic field, the direction of the current here, the magnetic field is like this, the current is like this, the force, what's the force? The force is acting in this direction. That means the two wires will attract each other. So if two wires are carrying current in the same direction, they will get attracted. So that is why here I have given that if the two wires are carrying current I1 and I2 and they are carrying current in the same direction, they will get attracted. But if they carry current in the opposite direction, then the forces will act in the opposite direction and the two wires will get repelled. Yeah? So, this is a basic concept that you have to keep in mind, that if the two wires are carrying current in the same direction, they will get attracted, and if they are carrying current in the opposite direction, they will get repelled. So based on this, there are a lot of numericals, which I will again discuss the numericals of this particular chapter on some other video. But today, first let us complete this. Next is, we are dealing torque acting on a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field. Now, we just studied that if there are two wires are kept in a magnetic field. Now next, I am going to teach you that if I keep a flat coil, if I keep a flat coil of length L and breadth B, which is carrying current I1, I, here, placed in a magnetic field, this is the magnetic field, this is the magnetic field, this is the normal of the wire, this is the normal of the wire, which is making an angle alpha with the magnetic field, and the plane of the coil makes an angle theta with the magnetic field. Did you understand? Plane, this is the normal. The normal makes an angle alpha with the direction of the magnetic field, but the plane of the coil, it makes an angle theta with the magnetic field. So it is basically like this. This is the normal making an angle alpha, and this is theta, and this is magnetic field. So basically theta plus alpha should be 90 degree. Theta plus alpha should be 90 degree. So if I tell that the plane is parallel to the magnetic field, plane is parallel to the magnetic field, that means the normal is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Plane is parallel to the magnetic field, so normal is perpendicular to the magnetic field. That means this alpha will be 90 degree. If the plane is perpendicular to the magnetic field, that means the normal is in the direction of the magnetic field. If the plane is perpendicular to the magnetic field, the normal is in the direction of the magnetic field. So then the alpha will be 0 degree. So you have to understand that language. How is the plane of the coil kept? So this coil is kept in a magnetic field with the normal making an angle alpha or the plane making an angle theta. Current I is flowing through the wire. So watch here. When the current I, this coil is of length L and breadth B, when the current I flows through this and this, basically two forces act, and those two forces are opposite to each other because direction of the current reverses. direction reverses. So the force's direction will be also opposite. And what about these two? These two will act along the plane, so they will cancel out. These two forces will act along the plane, so they will cancel out. But these two forces will act like this. One will be like this and the other will be like this. One like this, other like this, due to which the coil will rotate. The coil starts rotating. Clear? So what is happening here? So when I keep the coil, when I keep this coil in a magnetic field, now the force which acts is, we know that force acting on a current carrying conductor is BIL sine theta. BIL sine theta. But here, so the theta is the angle of the plane with the magnetic field. Plane with the magnetic field. Okay? And if I want to change theta, theta will be 90 minus alpha. So I can easily write BIL, this theta will become cos alpha. Because theta is 90 minus alpha, sine 90 minus alpha is cos alpha. This is the force acting. So what is the torque? Torque is force into perpendicular distance. So what is the perpendicular distance? BIL cos alpha, and perpendicular distance is the distance separating the two forces, which is B. Now L into B is A. So BIA cos alpha. This is the torque. Now if there are n turns, obviously it will increase. BIA cos alpha. This is the torque acting on the coil. Clear? Now watch here. If this normal is in the direction of the magnetic field, if the normal is in the direction, so alpha will be 0 and cos 0 is maximum. So torque maximum, when it will become, I have given it here, torque will be maximum when the alpha will be 0 degree. Torque will be minimum when the alpha will be 90 degree, cos 90 is 0. This is the normal. If the normal is in the direction of the magnetic field, that means plane is perpendicular to the magnetic field. When the plane is perpendicular to the magnetic field, alpha is 0. When the plane is parallel to the magnetic field, the alpha is 90 degree. So that is how we find out the maximum torque and the minimum torque. Clear? Find out the maximum and the minimum torque. So here I have written everything so that, see, all the things, whatever is going to come from the exam point of view, I have mentioned each and everything in this notes. So if you follow my lecture and if you could take down whatever I have written here, I am telling you, you will get everything common from here. Everything is going to come common from here. This is my guarantee. Okay. So now, next topic we move on to the moving coil galvanometer. It's a moving coil galvanometer, another very important thing. So here is a phosphor bronze mirror, and here is the coil having some turns. It is placed in a radial magnetic field. North pole, south pole. That means the magnetic field acts like this. They all pass through the coil. So what happens? When I pass current through this coil, this is phosphor bronze. This wire is made up of phosphor bronze. So when I pass current through this, the current flows through the coil. Now coil has an area. So when the current flows through the coil, just now we learned that there will be a torque acting on it. What is the torque? Torque is NBA cos alpha. This is I. This is the torque acting on this this coil. Having n turns, magnetic field is B, area of the coil is A, current I is flowing, alpha is the angle made by the normal of the coil with the magnetic field. Clear? So now we know that due to this torque, what will happen? The coil will turn. The coil will turn like this. And when it turns, there will be a twist produced. There will be a twist produced. That means there is a twist produced. So this twist will create a torque in the opposite direction. K theta. This twist will create a torque in the opposite direction. So when the coil turns, then due to the twist produced, the torque acting is K theta. Theta is the angle by which the coil rotates. Theta is the angle by which the coil rotates. So this twisting torque will balance the movement of the rectangular coil. So they will become equal. When maximum will act, this alpha will be 0 degree. So here I have written, when maximum will act, it will be 0 degree. So basically what I can take is that this alpha, I can take it that it is very, very less. It is very less compared to, suppose I take it as, let us take this as alpha and this as theta. Because here I have used theta and alpha. If I show it with a different variable, you will get confused. So torque acting on the coil will be NBAI cos theta, and let, due to the twisting, the torque acting is K alpha. So these two will, when the two torques balances, the motion of the circular rectangular coil stops. So basically these two will be equal, and when those two will be equal, here I made them equal. This is the equal part. Okay. So then I can find out what is the K, the twisting torque. Here I have written, see here, yes. So I, from here I will be K alpha by NBA cos theta. K alpha by NBA cos theta. Okay, K alpha by NBA cos theta. This will be the I. So now, watch one thing. Here I can tell that this part is a constant part. This part